YouTube. Today was kind of weird. It was supposed to be rainy with a high wind advisory, so I decided not to go out and do any shopping today. So I have been working on a couple of other action projects. Notably, one that I received the other day, and this was my my Norrbottens pattern that I received from Sweden. From a friend of mine in a trade. At first I thought that I was not going to do anything to it at all. I mean, obviously I would need to rework the grind, but I did file out some mushrooming in the pole, and something that I also do with other restorations is I kind of smooth out the edges here on the eye, on the top and the bottom, and in this case here where the collar is. It just makes for an easier fit, I found. I did file out over here, keeping in mind, if you can see it, not to disturb the Hults Bruk stamp that is near that. So did that. I have kind of been working on the grind. This had kind of a 22 or 23 degree bevel on it. I'm going to do a 20 degree Scandi grind, or Scandinavian flat grind on this here, and I started to work it, and I'm going to finish doing that. So put this up over here. I decided against using my low-tech camera, and I'm now using my high-tech camera that's on my smartphone because, well, it's high definition. So I think the video quality is going to be a lot better than before. So I'm going to lock this in the vise. I started working on one side. Now I'm going to go ahead and work on the other side. I'm just going to get it where I want it. And then before then I'm going to treat the metal, and I'll show you how. I thought about doing one of my signature forged patina on this, but I don't think I'm going to do that because there's still a lot of really good natural patina, and this axe is almost 100 years old, so I think just grinding off all these years of use is just kind of sacrilege. So I'm going to try to leave as much as I can, even though I have filed it down a little bit, which originally thought I was not going to, but I changed my mind. So I'm going to continue working this grind here with a double cut bastard mill file. Now it's already a 22 or 23 degree grind, so I'm going to start back over here and just kind of work it forward until I meet the edge there, and then I'm going to go ahead and check the angle. I'm also trying to be mindful of not putting a lot of file marks onto the up under the cheeks here, which is another reason why I'm not going any more narrow than a 20 degree grind at this point. I mean, you can take material away. As you know, you can't add it back. So with an axe that's this old and this interesting, I don't want to go too extreme on the grind. I just want to get close to what I find to be suitable working, because I'm going to make this a working axe again. This is not going to be a wall hanger. One of my rules: no wall hangers. All of my axes are put back into working condition when I restore them. Starting back and kind of working forward, I'm trying to get that angle to meet the edge, and then I'll go ahead and measure it. And I'm just going to go ahead and start it. I think once I hang it, I'll go ahead and actually do the sharpening and honing of it. But I'm going to just get the bit grind as close as I can for now. And I'm using a double cut bastard mill file right now to remove more material. In a minute here, I'll switch over to single cut bastard mill file. I have my music. I switched over to an old tablet so that I could use my cell phone, or smartphone rather, to take this video. And it looks like that. It has stopped on me. If there's one thing I can't stand doing, it's working out in the shop with no tunes. I'll have to fix that in a minute. Let's just go ahead and finish this here. As you can see, it's getting close to the edge there, but I don't want to actually touch the edge too much. I want to wait till that plane meets it, because if I start following this edge, I'm just going to just shorten the bit and remove more hardened steel, which I don't want to do. That's starting to look pretty good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and use one of my stones, a rough cut stone, the carborundum stone, or at least the roughest, most coarse grit. I'm just going to stir this up, make sure that it's good flat grind. I'm not using any water or liquid lubricant. Just doing a rough grind here. This is kind of my my beater stone. I actually use this for cleaning up crosscut saws. So it's usually pretty flat. Some stones, when you use them to sharpen or grind down axes, they tend to get valleys and contours in them, because most axe bits are contoured, they're not flat. This one is, while not perfectly flat, is more flat than my other stones, because they periodically touch up from time to time. So let's see how close we are to 20 degrees. Closer. But we're not there yet. Alright, I've switched it over here. Like I said, I ended up getting the video quality so much better now. I got this little holder for my my smartphone that fits into my tripod. Anyway, so hopefully this should be better video quality. So I've turned it back over to the first side that I started working on, and if you can kind of see the reflection change here, I'm starting back on the cheeks a bit and working it towards here, because I'm not quite at 20 degrees yet, so I have to keep thinning it out and slowly take it back a little farther. Right now I'm trying to be mindful not to put any file marks up onto here, because I don't want to ruin this this really nice, very old patina on this antique Swedish collet axe. They don't make these anymore. You can't even buy handles for them. I have to make one. So I'm just being very careful about doing this, and this is kind of one of my pet projects right now. So I'm going to continue filing back over here and just working it forward. I'm going to keep going with the double cut bastard mill, because it's removing more material, but it is starting to get clogged up a bit more. I'm having to stop every once in a while and clear it out with my file card. Another thing that I find helps in cleaning out your file teeth is some non-chlorinated brake cleaner. I use it a lot for cleaning my chainsaws and stuff, but it works very well. It just, it is toxic, so don't spray it over. Make sure you don't get it in your eyes and stuff. Just don't go crazy with it. Just remember that it is a chemical. See, now it's starting to get a little rocky, so I'm going to go ahead and file it out. Or I'm sorry, not file it out. Scrape it out with the file card. Continue working that angle. As I'm doing this, I'm also keeping a mental note of how much time I've spent on each side, which is important because if you file heavy on one side and you switch over to the other and don't file as heavy, then your grind is going to be uneven. It's probably not going to be perfectly symmetrical by filing by hand. You can get it close though, but what you want to avoid is having something lopsided. Having 1 degree angle on one side and then a different degree on the other. Even though they may both add up to the angle of grind that you want, you're still going to have an uneven grind, and it's going to really affect the way you chop. It'll cause glancing blows. It won't throw chips the way you want it. So just be mindful of that as you hand file. Hand filing, I'm not an expert. I have been doing this a lot over the years. You just kind of have to practice it. You have to kind of find your own way of doing it. But with most things, the greatest teacher is repetition and mistakes. You repeat the process over and over, and you learn from your mistakes. I really don't know how more plainly to put it than that. We are getting up close to the edge here. I don't want to get close to the edge of the double cut bastard file. I'll save that for the single cut and probably the super chrome file too. I'm noticing there's a little bit of unevenness, so I'm kind of correcting that. A Scandi grind or a Scandinavian grind is flat, it's even. There is no, because a lot of Scandinavian or even European axes, for example, they don't really have a lot of cheeks where there's a contour in here. It's mostly flat. So you want an even grind all the way out, as opposed to some American and also other countries do this where they have a contour. Make sure you stay properly lubricated. This is Trogues Nugget Nectar. Delicious. You hear that one now? Gosh, I hope the trees come down. The ground sure is wet. I cannot think of any year in my lifetime where we've had so much rain. It's just, it's one of the other reasons why I'm not out shopping today. The ground is so muddy, it's treacherous. It just makes a mess everywhere. Dirt gets all over the logs, gets in your axe, dulls your axe. It's just a pain in the arse. You see that? The difference in the reflection? That's where I'm starting to work at it, and again, bringing it forward towards the edge of the bit, trying to remove material from the cheeks to achieve my grind. getting a little rocky again. I don't know if it's the type of steel, if it's old steel, or just some grit coming off the patina, but it really seems to want to be clogging up my file a lot. Just so I'm just touching it up with a dry grind on a stone here. That's pretty good. See if I can get the camera to show the angle of grind on this. There we go. $20. Okay, confirmed. Now, I'm going to do, this is kind of like my little magic trick here. I don't always do this for a couple of reasons. It's not a very durable finish. But for this here, I'm going to use a little gun blue. Because I did file away some of it. You have a lot of the contrast with the bright steel. I'm okay with it on the bit. That looks cool. But over here, where I filed down the mushrooming on the pole, it's just, I don't know, it just takes away from that old look to it. I am going to use some acetone to degrease this. Really hear the wind picking up out there. Okay. Next, add some water on the right because you need to rinse the stuff off. It's corrosive. So I'm going to use what's known as Birchwood KC Permablue. There are other kinds of gun blue like super blue and whatnot. I just happen to have some of this on hand, so I'm going to use it. It's not very durable. It doesn't last long. But I will coat this with boiled linseed oil to get some protection. The main thing is I just want to kind of hide the clean steel marks from the filing that I've done. And over time through use, this thing will build up sap and pitch and all kinds of things on it, and dirt, and sweat that will add on top of it. But for the time being, I'm just going to mask some of the work that I've done here with this Permablue. It doesn't look the same, but it makes it dark. It kind of fools the eye a little bit, as I say. This stuff's very corrosive. If you've ever worked with this before, wear gloves. I'm serious. Put a little bit on there and just put it wherever you want. Turn black. usually use super blue. This does not seem to be turning as black as quick, so I might switch to that in a minute. You want to give this about 30 seconds of contact time, and then immediately quench with water to rinse it off. This is highly corrosive. Got a lot of chemical reactions going on with this product. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and discard that. Oh. And you just wipe it off. Okay. There it is. It looks beautiful. This is definitely not the final edge. As you can see, there's some nicks inside there. But I'll tell you what, this thing is still pretty sharp, even though I barely even touched the edge. I dare say it's probably sharper than most fellows' axes. A lot of people don't really know how to sharpen an axe. As you can see, I got out. You can see the smooth file marks, but the coloration is nice and uniform. A couple coats of linseed oil, and you wouldn't even know. So again, this is an old Hults Bruk, 3.2 pound, which I believe is 1.5 kilogram, vintage, antique Swedish colored axe in the Norrbottens pattern. Sent to me by my friend in Sweden who I met on Reddit. And if you're watching, you sent a Trensbo, Donk. Love it. Okay, I'll see you guys next time.